Hey YouTube, welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming Club Battle Report. Without us, they never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. This is another pretty boy bat rep. We're bringing you Buckeye Game 4, Day 2. Hope it's better than Day 1. um, this is my list. Feel free to pause it, take a look over. And first game, Day 2, I am playing a Dwarven Holds list. Yay! Because I don't get enough Dwarven Holds locally. That's okay. This is a very different style list. I'm playing Kelly, and it's an MSU dwarf list, which is really interesting. Typically, you see dwarves in these big giant clumps, like 3 units, and then artillery essentially. Uh, Obviously, my usual opponent plays them a little bit more balanced, more of a multiple medium-sized units. I'm interested to see how they might perform in an MSU style. So we'll get right down to it. So this is the board. I'm just showing you the left side. This game, it was secure target, and it was counter thrust. So you had to deploy 1v1, and I, of course, put my Dark Raiders up as my first drops to push her stuff back as far possible. So you'll see the black and white Buckeye chips. Those are the targets. So all the way on the left, I have my dancers, which are there purposely just to hold that objective. I've got the Dark Raiders screening up front to give my executioners some cover, who are right behind them. And then I have Harpies behind them. Bolt throwers on the hill. And then in the center, so that I have options to go to either side of the board since the other target's on the other side. I have my spears with my BSB and my general in it. The Kraken is behind them. And I'm really using the altar as a way to block the cannon that you'll see when we get over to the right side, and then I have more Dark Raiders screening up there. And the Dwarven Holds forces are split up. I know it's kind of hard to see, the models aren't painted, but on the hill there's a unit of 10 warriors with sword and board, and they have throwing weapons. And then there's, I want to say, 12 to 13 marksmen with crossbows. And then behind the hill is a unit of Deep Watch. I think it's about 20, and the general BSB are in that unit. And then that ship-looking thing, it's actually kind of a cool-looking model, is a Grudge Buster. So it's the flying chariot. Getting to the other side, deployment. For me, I have the Dread Knights on the hill, so they're going to try to get over there. The other target's like behind that forest, so they're going to try to get over there. And then, you can't see, but on that hill is a unit of repeater auxiliaries. And on the Dwarven Hold side, there's a couple blimps, so those are the copters, and then a unit of warriors with throwing weapons, sword and board. And then bunkered in the corner is another big unit of crossbowmen. And then there is a rune-crafted catapult and a cannon. Alright, so I actually won the roll-off to go first, so I took it. So this is what it looks like after Vanguards and moves. So since the Deep Watch is over there, I decided to commit with the spears, thinking that the executioners would probably need the extra help to kill them. I'm going to bring the Kraken over as well. I want to make sure I get this token and I keep it, and most of the points are over on the side. If I can just dart in with the knights on the other side or the repeaters to just contest the other objective, I'll be fine. So that's my plan there. And then I'm using my raiders as a screen on my spears for all the crossbow shots they would be taking. And then over here, I kind of just sit back. I need to start clearing out those copters best I can with the bolt throwers and the repeaters. In Magic, I get Word of Iron to increase the Executioner's armor save. So now they'll have a 3-up armor save, and then they'll have a 5-up ward save against artillery, so just to help keep them alive for as long as possible so they can get into combat. And then we go into Dwarven Holds, turn 1. Oh, excuse me, my air conditioner just turned on. That's going to be annoying in the background. Alright, so Dwarves turn 1. The Grudge Buster charges the Chaff. I flee, and either redirects or it fails, but it doesn't get into anything else. And there's really not a whole lot of movement. Just kind of shifts some things around a little bit. Does not move the copters. I think they were just forgotten about, unfortunately. Going into shooting, there's no magic, and I think the catapult kills a couple of the executioners, like 2 or 3 of them, but not too bad there, obviously. Could have been much worse. And that's it. So, not much going on there. Dread Elves turn 2. The Raiders rally, and so they're just gonna sit over here and help to kill the chaff that's over here. And then on the top of the screen, you can see my other Dread Elves decide there's really not much to do. They're gonna make a break over outside the crossbowman's flank, and see if they can get around and get to those artillery pieces. And over here, I had charged with my executioners into the crossbowmen. They did a stand and shoot. They might have killed 1 or 2 guys, I don't remember. And then just to make extra sure, I had moved my harpies to chaff up the deep watch, just in case for some reason the executioners didn't kill the crossbowmen. Fortunately for me, they did, so I kill all the crossbowmen, and then I will reform, you'll see in a couple pictures, to face the flank of the deep watch, and the Grudge Buster can't see them. Meanwhile, the spears and the Kraken are coming over to help. In shooting, I think with the combined, or I'm sorry, this might be magic. No, it's not magic. It's definitely shooting. I was shooting with the combined crossbow shots. I killed the 1 copter, and then the bolt throwers take out the other one. So that's perfect. So now the chaff is gone. So that'll make things easier over there for my knights to hopefully contest that objective. Yep, and that's just what that reform looks like. Dwarven Holds turn 2. They get aggressive. These warriors are starting to march up. I'm okay with this. I think that, you know, it's somewhat of a decent charge for the knights. But even if I fail, I think I'll be okay there. And the repeaters can always shoot at them. Otherwise, not too much going on that side of the board. The Deep Watch charge the Harpies, that's fine, they're going to kill them and reform. And then the other warriors start moving forward. They're going to try to get after the dancers. Now, their throwing weapons don't bother me because I'm in the ruins. But if they get into combat, that's kind of iffy either way. So that's actually a very good move there. And then the one unit I forgot to talk about was there was a unit of, I want to say, miners. Yeah, it was miners that ambushed on, and they've got pistols. And yeah, they shoot up one of the bolt throwers. That's bad news for me. And then the catapult finally comes down on the spear unit like I knew it would, and it kills 6 guys. So that's unfortunate. I can't afford to lose a lot more of them. And then the crossbows open up and kill like 5 more. So this unit's really getting short-handed here, and I can't have that happen. And the Deep Watch killed the chaff, turned to face. This is going to be an epic battle to come. And then we go into Dread Elves turn 3. I think I did the blessing where I got reroll charges, and the Kraken and the spear block it into the flank of those warriors, which is awesome. It brings the spears closer to help out with the Deep Watch unit, and also it should eliminate these guys. And the executioners, of course, charge the Deep Watch, so at least they're not getting a charge bonus charging me. Over here, I do fail the charge with the knights. um, that's just been what they've been doing basically this whole tournament. And then I move the raiders over so that they're on line of sight to just try and shoot them. Go into magic, and it's a good magic phase. I reduce his armor save by 1, which is huge. So now they're not getting any armor save, and I increase mine. So now I've actually got better defensive stats as far as armor save goes, but they still have a ward save. The bolt thrower, knowing that it's doomed, takes its last few shots at these guys, kills enough to make them take a panic test, but they're fine. They're dwarves. What do you expect? And then over here, I had made the charge into the cannon. I think that the cannon killed off 1 or 2 of them the turn before they passed their panic. They came in, and I think I charged, but the crew killed one of my guys, and I didn't do anything to it, so we just stick there. So at least it's being held up. We go into combat. As you can see, I kill a lot of Deep Watch. He kills a few of my guys. I win combat, but he is stubborn because he has bodyguard. So pretty much what I expected. Now I just need these guys to either win or hold on for 1 more combat so that the spears can get into the flank. I'm not sure if I took a picture of it, but the spears and the Kraken do break the warriors. I restrain with the spears, and I think I restrain with the Kraken, and so they run, but they're not caught. Alright, so then Dwarven holds turn 3. The warriors make a long charge on the repeater auxiliaries, and they make it in. Very bad news for me. I will likely lose that combat, and he probably will get those repeaters. The fortunate thing is that at least the knights are free to then march up, and he's only going to have there's only going to be 1 scoring unit near that objective, so I can contest it. I'm hoping. So, and then the miners charge into the bolt thrower. Knew that was going to happen. Let's see. The warriors that broke from combat rallied. So now, and they rallied in such a way so that my dancers can't see them. So now I got to deal with them again, which is unfortunate. Yes, that's just what it looks like over there. The crossbows completely take on my fast cav, so that's unfortunate. And then in combat, the crew kill off the last raider, so cannon stands strong. Oh, and by the way, there is an engineer in this unit of crossbowmen. He's the cool guy with the big hammer standing on that rock. It'll look really good when it's painted. And then meanwhile over here, yeah, I actually don't lose by as much as I thought I would, but I do break. He does not catch me, but the warriors do try to chase the repeaters. And the bolt thrower is killed. Yeah, not much I can do about that. And then the executioner combat with the dwarves. The dwarves do a little bit better this time. I don't kill quite as many of them. You know, me losing my hatred compared to them losing their hatred is more detrimental to me. I actually lose this combat by 1, but I'm leadership 8 because of the general with the reroll, and I stick. So finally, that's working out. That base in the top right that you see there, the model kept falling off, but that's the Grudge Buster, so she had just moved it back in the last turn. Alright. And then this is Dwarves. This is Dread Elves turn 4. This is just showing that the repeaters do not rally, and they run off the board. Pansy elves that they are. And then I start moving these knights up because I know that I gotta get this objective. Over here, the spears with the altar charge into the flank of the Deep Watch, which is perfect. So now I think I'll be okay over there and pick up all those points. And then I march the Kraken into the ruins. He's fine from the DTs. So now that the dwarves are chaffed up, they can't charge the dancers. And the dancers just back up a little bit, so they're still within 6 of the objective. And I think I'll be okay here as well. Nothing of note in magic or shooting. And yeah, I destroy all the Deep Watch. The Executioners run down the remaining characters and get out of line of sight of the Grudgebuster. I decide to reform the spears to face back towards the objective, just in case there's some way. Um, I forget if those warriors had a musician or not, but just to kind of dance around and contest that objective, that would be bad. Um, I don't want that to happen. And there's really nowhere else for the spears to go. And now I know that Grudgebuster is facing the rear of them. If it makes it in, I'll be steadfast, I'll turn around, and then I'll kill it on the next turn. So that's my thought there. Plus, it's a decent charge, so there's a good chance it might not make it in anyway. And really, that's about it for my turn. Dwarven holds turn 4. Grudgebuster makes it in. Okay, not much I can do about that. These dwarves are starting to come around and chase after the knights. Otherwise, not too much happens. We go into combat, and the Grudgebuster goes off, and it's really unfortunate because it did kill enough where it's going to get half points for the spears, which is a nice point swing. And the really unfortunate part is I don't kill it, which is fine, but then I fail my Leadership 9 re-rollable check to turn around and face it because I am steadfast, which is really bad. So now it's Dread Elves' turn 5. Kraken charges the warriors. They actually fail their terror test and flee off the board. So that's helpful for me. I should have this objective now. The Executioners just turn around and stay behind the hill to conserve points. I move the knights over. One had been shot down the turn before, just so that I'm within 6 inches of the objective, but I have one more turn to move if I need them to. And they're also moved in such a way that the crossbowmen can't see them. So if they want to move and shoot at them, they're going to take a huge penalty for it. And then we get into this combat here, and I get both unlucky and really lucky at the same time. So my BSB on the altar is now hitting the chariot head on. With its grinding attacks, it kills the rest of the unit. So it gets the whole spearman unit, which is really bad because that's a big point swing. But my general's alive, the BSB's alive, the BSB swings back. I'm expecting to kill it, and I flub. Like, I flub completely. I don't think I do anything. And the Grudgebuster is winning combat by a decent amount. And I need to roll like a 5, I think, on leadership check. And with the reroll, I do. Otherwise, it was very possible I would have lost both these characters. And that would have been a huge game changer. So, unlucky in one sense in this combat, which I thought, I could clean up pretty easily. But at the same time, at least the characters are alive. I do pass my test to turn around also. And I think I'll get this now. What else is going on? So this must be Dwarven Holt's turn 5. Yeah. So the miners are moving as fast as they can. The warriors are still chasing those knights. The cannon finally gets the Kraken in its sights and puts a couple wounds on. I kill the Grudgebuster this time. And then Dread Elves turn 6. Yep, we're just shifting things around. I'm trying to hide the Kraken as best I can. Just hang on to that objective. And then with the Dread Knights, I made sure that they're within 6 inches of the token with the whole unit. If the warriors want to charge me, I think I'll actually hold and be fine. And then if they want to shoot me, I'm immune to psych, so they're going to have to kill all of them, and that's kind of a tall order. So let's see if they can do it. Dwarven holds turn 6. Unfortunately, the crossbowmen would have to move, which they do, so they're at a big penalty. everything it shoots at them that can only kill 2. So I end up getting both tokens. I win the objective. I'm up on points. And this ends up being a Dread Elf victory, 18-2 after the objective. So day 2 is better than all of day 1 in one game. And for the MVPs, for the Dwarven Holds, that Grudge Buster was big. That got a lot of points. That basically kept the Dwarves on the board. And it was that's a great model. I gotta say, it's a really nice unit for the Dwarves. You don't see it all that much. And then for the Dread Elves, I gotta give it to the Executioners who went over. They did their freaking job for once this tournament. They blasted through the crossbowmen, and then they went into the Deep Watch, beat them up for 2 rounds of combat, and were able to hold there so that help came to clean them up, and then they chased down the characters. That's all I really needed to do, because that Deep Watch unit is pretty expensive, and then plus the 2 characters. Yeah, that's all the points I need. And then just pick up stuff, other units here and there. But anyway, so what did we learn today? Dwarves as a split force. I would love to play this list again, maybe with a different objective in mind or a different scenario. I'm not going to count out Dwarven MSU completely, but this is not the most optimized list. And with a secure target, you kind of split your force up in a way, or you have to just sweep the flank to try to get both objectives. I didn't even like splitting up my force. I think for Dwarves, it's even worse. I think they need to be more centralized, because I was able to hide a lot more things, and they just don't have the same support. So I think that was an issue. Grudge Busters, though, that thing, not only was it good this game, but I just see the potential for it being really good in general, because it has grinding attacks, so it's good in the 2nd and 3rd and 4th round of combat, and it's toughness 5 with 5 wounds, so it's not that easy to kill, and it helps, countercharge into flanks and protect flanks and all that good stuff, and it flies. It's a flying chariot. So I really like that unit, and yeah, I thought that was just an interesting thing to see in game. And then for me, I think I play Dwarves often by virtue of playing Mark, so I knew pretty much all the units that were in this army, and I knew how they worked, and that's always nice. It's less time consuming, and it's a lot more helpful to know your enemy's army well, so that's never a bad thing. Otherwise, I think this is just kind of like, I was towards the lower tables because of how poorly I ended up doing day 1. This is just me bouncing back a bit. So, good game. Had a lot of fun. Good opponent. I think this is definitely a new force, which is why it's not painted. But I wish Kelly luck in the future. And onward to the last game. Now, just as a little teaser, the last game, I was pretty excited because I found out what the matchups were, and it's against the most talked about list. It is the list that everybody else's list is held in comparison to. I am playing the all goblin list. It is a cave goblin themed army. There are over 200 goblins. Can't wait. So we'll get into that game next shortly. Otherwise, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate your viewership. Hit like, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next time.